Yes, guys. Welcome to Little Black Book 91. Little Black Book, you know what time it is. Listen, we're talking to you today, well, about the Hakimi situation. And I guess we can obviously transfer that to relationships in general. It's been doing storms, it's been doing rounds, it's been doing madness. The ladies have been up in arms, and the man them have been up in arms about this particular video and this particular subject as well. So I thought we'll bring it and just have a discussion about it. And talk a little bit about relationships, marriage, and about how, listen, hey, sometimes for some people, marriage is the biggest scam they got out there. Okay, all right. Some people are engaged into marriage to win something from the relationship. Okay, sometimes the divorce is more about, gaining something, sometimes even hurting you just to win something. So we thought we'd have a conversation about it. And have some real just deep talks about it as well. So I'm joined by my favorite co-star, Jay Anderson King, and he's going to help me discuss this topic. How you doing, Captain?
I'm all right, my bro. I'm feeling good. A little bit tired, but I'm feeling good, especially about this topic. I feel like it's something that we have to discuss from both angles. But how are you, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm alive and I'm well, fam. And we gonna get into this video because there's a lot to discuss about this topic as well. I know everyone's gonna have their opinions and their thoughts. By all means, guys, let us know your thoughts down below in the comments section as well. We want to hear what you guys think. You may have different thoughts, which I understand, but we love to be able to hear what you guys also think of the situation. So I'm gonna bring I guess a thing that will be, there's a little thing there real quickly. I'll read it for you guys so you guys can actually have an understanding of what topic is going on at the moment. So wife of Moroccan soccer star loses divorce settlement as fortune is in his mother's name. So Archraf Hakimi is worth around more than 70 million, but most of it is underneath his mother. Okay, so the wife of Paris Saint-Germain star Achraf Hakimi, Habiba, a book, walked away from divorce court with nothing after learning Hakimi's fortune was in his mother's name. A book 36 was seeking a divorce and half the wealth of the 24-year-old soccer player following his indictment by French prosecutors on rape charges back in March. However, Hakimi, who hails from Morocco, has no properties or money under his name, as his fortune is all under his mother's name instead. It goes on to say Hakimi is estimated worth 70 million, makes £215,000 per week. Court officials determined this after a book filed for divorce, telling her that even his PSG salary was registered under his mother. Guess he's too smart. When news came out that Hakimi had indicted on rape charges, a book went on holiday with 2 children in Dubai. It was later reported that she decided to want a divorce. Hakimi and a book were married in February 2020. Hakimi was placed under judicial supervision in early March after 23-year-old woman came forward accusing him of rape. A preliminary investigation was open, though a report said the victim didn't press charges. Authorities kept the investigation going because of her testimony against Hakimi. The woman claimed that Hakimi had raped her at her home in Paris, and so Hakimi played a crucial role in the historic run that Morocco made in 2022 World Cup. In 7 matches, the defender had an assist. And so, okay, here we go. So that's them there as well. So quite the news, quite the conversation. A lot has been happening around this conversation. And many different thoughts and many different perspectives as well. So just to get your first thoughts on this, what was your thoughts on this when it first came out?
Well, you know me, I have to do more research. I have to look into the whole thing that's going on, right? And to give everyone in America an understanding of the full picture, the woman in question, right now, she's 36. And I don't know if she's a successful actress, but she's a Spanish actress. People know who she is. Right now, the man is 24. Now, as we saw, they got married in February 2020. So that means and his birthday's in, I believe it's November. So that means they got married 4 months after he turned 21. And she would have been, 33 at the time? That's one question. Another question is, what would a grown, successful woman in, I guess, the entertainment industry want with a 21-year-old? And by the way, he's been one of the guys for quite a while. He's been one of the best players. like Kojo mentioned, he's been on £250,000, well, €1,000 a week. That's a lot. In football terms, that's a lot. You are a successful person. So to me, when I saw this, I just thought, what's going on there? And you mentioned the rape case. The rape charge was filed on the March the 3rd. And at the end of March, she had said that they had actually been separated for a while and undergoing divorce proceedings. So we don't actually know when the separation would have occurred. And by the way, no one is advocating for rape. No one is saying rape is okay. No one is celebrating rape, right? Where you see men who are celebrating, it's not about the rape, right? It's just about the circumstance of this woman has chosen to leave him and has demanded half, right? She's been married to him for just 2.5 years, and now she's demanded half. And by the way, they have 2 kids. And she has been able to get half because nothing is in his name. This is what people are talking about, simply because of all the pain and damages that have been done to men's wallets simply because a woman chooses to leave. And not every situation is that he cheated or that he's abused her. The woman can just leave and still be entitled to something like this, right? So that's the foundation. My thoughts have always been the same around divorce. I've always been the same. And this is even as a Christian, I'm going to say this, right? I understand when it comes to the Bible, the reason why there was perimeters around divorce, especially provisional perimeters, which had to do with finance and protection, because back in those days, you couldn't just marry a woman and just leave her be. People in America would understand this, that you would take her to another state, so to speak, right? You would take her far away from her family. You ain't going to divorce her and take her back. And that's a shame. But you're just going to divorce her and leave her. You couldn't just leave a woman out there to fend for herself. So you would have to look after her until another man came along and decided to marry her, if he wanted to, because obviously divorce was not seen as, back then it was still a big, for the women anyway, it was still a big stigma. So I understand that. So I understand if a woman and the kids are used to a certain lifestyle, that a man has to provide for a certain level. However, if the woman has chosen to leave, not only does he have to provide for a woman who's going to build her life outside the house for, with another man if he comes along, but he has to also build his life with that deficit. He's no longer building with someone. He has to, with that deficit, build on his own. I'll give an example before I carry on. I used to work with a guy, right? He was with a particular woman and he lived in a house with her kids. Her ex-husband was still paying for the house with him living in it. Can you imagine? And that was the stipulation in the courts until the youngest child reached the age of 18. So can you imagine you paying for the house that your ex-wife and your kids and your ex-wife's new man is living in? That's cheeky, but that's what the system does. So when it comes to divorce proceedings, the reason why people are celebrating is simply because it looks dodgy from day one. It looks dodgy from day one. And the moment there was some sort of issue, because we still don't know whether it's true or not, she decided to go. She decided to jump ship. So which means there was issues already at play. And she decided this was her chance to go. Again, this is not about whether he's done it or not. No one knows. No one is advocating or saying rape is okay, because we are not. All we're saying is this looks dodgy. And this was a great opportunity for her to leave and then demand half just to be told no. And that's why guys are laughing about this. Quite simply, because it looks dodgy. That's me, bro.
Yeah, and look, I'm gonna be honest with you. The story hasn't actually been fully verified that it's actually true. But we're taking it as an example, right? We're taking it as an example, and it's gone round and everything like that, right? So actually, first and foremost, I want to say grape because YouTube will pick up as always, but let's say grape aside, right? Put that aside. They've been together for 5 years. So actually been together for 5 years. Yeah. It's been together for 5 years. They've actually been together for 5 years. Since he was 19. Yes.
And she was 31.
31.
Wow.
What is a 31-year-old doing with a 19-year-old? What is a 31-year-old successful actress in her country doing with a 19-year-old?
She's actually from a different country, by the way, as well.
Yeah. So what was she doing right at that age? That's the question we're asking. Why would she need such a young man, right? And then you know, I think also with that, you know, they obviously have their kids, etc., right? Which is not a problem. They've done that. And so, you know, I think, you know, even let's take the story as it being true. If the assets on his mother's name, quote unquote, i.e., number one, it would show that there might have been some mistrust between himself and the lady in question. Number two, probably the family didn't trust her either, being the age gap that there is. You know, and um, you know, and number three, also, um, I think this situation just is the reason why it's taken up such a storm is because it's part of the narrative that a lot of men say happens quite a bit, right? You know, that when you know when these relationships end or when a divorce ends, the idea is to then, you know, in terms of punishment, take half of stuff, take half of his wealth in a sense. But I think the difference here, you know, I think the difference here is that number one, you know, she's a successful actress as well. So she's a successful actress. So, you know, you have to look at the situation and go, okay, if she's a successful actress, you know, um, then she has her own money. So why would it be that he would have to fork out half the finances for her? You know what I mean? Why would he need to fork out half the finances? You know, what if you truly was want to get away from him, you don't want to be in a relationship no more. You are a successful actress who makes money. She's not broke. You know, she ain't broke. She's got money. So then it becomes about what's really the motive behind claiming the half. And I think it then opens up another conversation, which is the everyday man or the everyday person, when they get into divorce court, the same thing kind of happens. Now, of course, someone would say they don't have much money. Yeah, I get it too, not having much money, but still, if your half your assets are being taken or half your money's being taken, or there's a considerable amount of paycheck coming out of you to support the other woman, that's where the conversation ends up being. And that's why this story has taken such a huge you know, virality right now. The men are enjoying this story so much it doesn't make sense. But yeah, I don't know. What's your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I just keep thinking about the practicality of it. One, what was she doing with this young man? Well, what's saying what was she doing? We know what it was. Like, let's not even pretend anymore. We know what it was. She saw someone who was a great footballer, jackpot, and she decided, let's see. Because what do you have in common? Like, what do you have in common? At that age, you know what footballers are like anyway. Most footballers. So what do you have in common? So the desirability was quite simply that he had money, and he was one of, I wouldn't even say he's one of the world's most famous footballers yet, but he's in one of the world's most famous teams with amazing players in there. You know, if you're a fan of football, a fan of soccer, you know PSG, and you know how great that team is, even though they haven't actually won what they need to win yet, but you know how great that team is. You can imagine for America, you can say probably when Chicago Bulls, when they was, you know, had all the stars in there. I don't really follow basketball, but when they had all the stars, you know, and these were the highest paid people, the people that everyone wanted to talk about, that's the level of the team that he comes from. So automatically there's going to be eyes on what he does, you know, who he's with, and just how he goes about life, even away from football. But to me, I always look it back to, it's a crazy situation. That was one thing for her to feel, I cannot trust you. You have cheated on me. Who knows what he's admitted to her personally. He may have cheated, but said, I didn't rape anyone though. You know, and she can say,
It
well,
was that pop thing was during the break. They were on a break at that point.
oh, when it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, we have no idea why they're separated. Until one of them comes out, no one has any ideas why they're separated. However, in the same month that this charge was filed is when she decided to make the separation public, and then straight away speak to the lawyers, right? To me, I always look at it like this. There are certain people, like you said, bro, when it comes to the scam, they know at the back of their mind, if this goes wrong, at least I'll be okay. So they will make certain sacrifices knowing this is likely to go wrong. This shouldn't be the person that I'm marrying. But you know what? if we end up divorcing because he's likely going to mess up, I'm going to be rich, especially if I have his kids. She gave birth to their first son in the same year that they got married, right? I think around November. So quite possibly she got pregnant straight away, or she was already pregnant at the time, depending on when things happen. So it just looks completely dodgy. And it always looks back to she wants half. Okay, does she need half to live her life? Does she need half for her kids to, just to be able to enjoy life? Absolutely not. And I always say this, and I say this to everyone, right? And even this is a Christian point of view based on the economics of life today. She can take half, she can be with another man and get 100% of what he's having. But the ex-husband leaves with half. Imagine if he's marrying a woman that doesn't have much to give, because that's not what that's not even what he wants. He might not care about a woman who is going to bring a certain level of finances. He just wants to be with her. So that means he's already at a deficit. And again, like I said, it's not every single situation where the man has cheated or he's done anything. According to the law, a woman can just decide to leave, get divorced, and she's entitled. Even I don't know how it's in America, but in the UK, you can live with someone for 2 years and still have the same legalities when it comes to separation, because it's seen as you built something. And let's say here, he was a footballer before they met. He was always going to be a footballer. When it comes to the understanding of what you're entitled to, the idea is that you built that home together, but this isn't the case. So the question is, who is entitled and who is not? And this is why it just looks dodgy, because it just looks like from the beginning, that was the safety net. She knew whenever this messes up, because it's likely going to, I'll be okay. And I would genuinely like to know how she thinks or how she feels looking at this situation and realizing there's nothing she can literally do. Because this situation started from, I guess it can started from early, with the arrangement that he had with his mum. I don't think this happened because, she was around. Because if not, that can be challenged in court, that you were purposely going out your way to, to avoid paying me money. So I think this started way before. And that's where the financial responsibility comes in of footballers, because this happens all the time. Sports players, this happens all the time. And this is just one of many occasions where it happens. And don't get me wrong, right? I feel more for the kids, because I don't know what she's doing with herself, but I feel more for the kids, because the kids don't need to grow up and see their parents, in this mess in public, right? Open to everyone, all of our opinions, open to everyone saying what they want to say. Like that's who I feel for. But at the end of the day, I know they do not need 50% of his income in order to have a very, very, very good life. So that wasn't about the kids. This was about her deciding that she's entitled to half of what he has built by himself.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think in reality, the situation with Hakimi is, aside obviously, like I said, the grape aspect. He's been groomed. He's at 19. He's 19 with a grown ass. Let me not say even groomed. Let me put this. It's groomed, but let me just also say this as well. As a 19-year-old, I would have been doing some mad things at that age, right? But you know what? Wisdom. Because you be thinking at 19, you know it all. At 19, you don't know wheat. At 19, you are actually like, when I think about young people, I look at them and go, blood, you are young, You don't know how easy your mind is twist up, twist up, twist up. But when you're 19, you're thinking, who can twist me up? Nobody can test me. Da, 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 da. But when you get older and you realize these 19-year-olds are gullible. You know what I mean? So like at 19, he knew he ain't know nothing, bruv, right? So I think personally that this situation with Hakimi, like I said, he didn't trust her from the beginning. And I'm guessing the age situation was a big thing. I wonder if there was a kid involved beforehand, or whether she got pregnant beforehand, and maybe that's why he had to marry her. But I'm not sure what the timeline is of the kids. But yeah, it's just a bit odd. It's a bit odd, this story, to marry, put your assets into your mom's name. You almost kind of like you kind of knew what you were doing, like, you know what I mean, like. But yeah, for me that age range is political for me. I can't lie to you, it's political. It's not the best situation to want to being as well. So I'm gonna leave it on that. Any last words on that before I bring up another video to you?
Well, for me, because someone mentioned the kids, right? The kids are entitled to, the father's benefits. I agree with you, but let the kids go live with the father then. And by the way, I brought up my oldest daughter for most of our life, so I'm speaking from experience. Let the kids go live with the father then, if that's what the issue is, Yeah, so I agree. The kids shouldn't go without, but in order to get full benefits, let them go live with the father, because his lifestyle, whatever arrangement that he had, he can make it work, because many men do. But again, that's another issue that's going to have to go to court, and where people are going to have to ruin each other's characters in order to get what they want. So it's quite a difficult situation to even fathom unless you've been through court yourself, right? But to me, again, it's not about the kids. It's this wasn't about the kids. This was about, the actress cashing in. And that's just my opinion. It's just about the actress cashing in. With a young, again, 31 and 19, bro, if it was the other way around, in this day and age, some people might question, but at the same time, people were like, okay, cool, it's been happening for how many decades? But the other way around, with women saying they want the man to be mature, they want a man to be this, to be ABC, the only thing appealing about being with a 19-year-old, where there's a language barrier, by the way, is quite simply that he had money. That's it. That's why it looks wrong.
I hear you on that, bro. I ain't gonna disagree with you on that, bro. I'm gonna bring up another video. This actually what we're gonna be discussing as well. I think a little bit on the panel. This what inspired some of the conversation that's gonna be on the panel later on this evening. And I did a video on my channel earlier on as well.
And then also,
so
the fear of him being offended by me actually wanting to start.
Yeah, no, I think she's right, because like I said, I don't care too much about other things. So this whole, open relationship thing does not matter to me, I guess, as much. I want her to be happy, of course, and she feels like she wants expand, and for sure. And I don't mind having experience here and there, but it's never going to come from my side.
However, what stood out the most to me during their interview were the hidden roadblocks that stand between being curious and open to consensual non-monogamy to actually. So let's get to those guests. Bailey Dayton and Chris Swaggy C. Williams. Bailey is a model and a former beauty queen, and Chris is a day trader and a serial entrepreneur. The couple met in 2018 while competing on CBS's Big Brother 20. They quickly formed a showmance, and though he was evicted from the house in week 2, Big Brother talk here, he proposed to her next time he saw her at the finale.
And I don't really know what my future holds, but I do know I want you in it.
Yeah.
So Bailey, Amethyst Dayton, will you marry me?
Yes. So they get married, they fall madly in love, they move to Puerto Rico, they have a daughter together in 2022, and now things are starting to settle down and they feel like they're ready to spice things up again. And that is the conversation we're diving into right now. All right, so you want to have an open relationship.
We are what you call pre-polyamorous.
Okay, let's start with Swaggy C's look to that. You did not like that.
No, it wasn't that. It was the way you said it. How she said pre-polyamory. I think that's where we are right now.
Yeah, because open relationships have a negative connotation.
She put me in the bathroom, or we talked in the bathroom. She was like, I want you to know that open relationship is different from polyamory. And I was like, oh, really? I had no idea.
It's just hard. But in order to define it for the way his brain works, polyamorous would be pre-polyamorous would be a more,
I think if any commitment structure you tried to define it, as much as we think there's a universal understanding, if we talked about monogamy, you probably would have a different set of rules and understanding monogamy than I would have.
Yes.
Even though this is the only commitment structure we've heard over and over and over again. So that to be said, I don't think that there's a hard definition, but the way that we differentiate open relationships and polyamory is polyamory literally translates to many loves. So we're not interested in other loving dynamics.
So maybe you're right then. So yeah, so maybe
okay, continue.
Right.
Yeah, so we're interested in experiences and moments, maybe relationships, but not necessarily open to love.
So then I have the definitions all messed up.
Yeah, we're all messed up.
That is what I would agree with 100%.
Okay.
Hi, lovers and friends. So throughout this conversation,
okay. Bro, it gets worse. I'm just gonna tell you it gets worse, but I just wanted to play that first part for you just so you get a bit of understanding of what the heck is happening.
I think everyone's confused, because I am, bro. You know what, let me say this here. So you want experiences but not love. So that simply meant you want to have sex with other people, but you don't want to fall in love with them. You only want to love one person. That's really what it is, isn't it? And it seems like it's the wife that has brought this on the table. Bro. Transparency, I am not someone that when I get married, I have no interest in having another wife or having women side chicks. That's not me. Like, I'm not that type of person, right? So understand where I'm coming from. I'm not going to tell you men should be able to do it, women shouldn't. I don't care for all of that. That's not my life, right? But when it comes to this, bro, the only things I can say is that your wife is telling you that you're not enough for her. That's it. Your wife is telling you that you're not enough for her. Like, how do you feel as a man? Because if you don't want to have this experience, there's not a time where you're going to feel good about it. Even if you're sleeping with other women, the thought of the wife that you love, that you would have never put this on the table, sleeping with other men, and knowing that she's not even seeking love, she's just seeking. I'll say it in a nice way, bro. She's just seeking. Okay, she's just seeking sex, bro. Like, that's wild. Like, this what? Wow. Okay, this is where we are now as people.
Hey, listen. I'm just gonna bring this. Let it play a bit more.
Let's go. Bro, by the way, we can't hear the sound, you know.
Oh, sorry, guys. I apologize. Oh my days. Listen, wait. Listen to this.
The umbrella term, whether you open, you're polyamorous, you're a swinger.
We're definitely under the umbrella. We just
don't know what little teardrop is yours.
Maybe we just under the umbrella. Maybe we don't need to define it.
Maybe you don't need to define it, actually.
We can figure it out. But yeah, let's break this down because we have different personality types. So even the jump, we started thinking of this whole open/polyamory, which is we'll name it right now, because Swag is a workaholic, and we had gotten to a point in our relationship where he was like, you know, people have given me crap for not providing financially on the level that they expect my life to be, because they're like, you deserve all this stuff and he needs to do more. People got and gave him that crap. So he went, don't
get me started on that. So
a lot of
our
people.
first year together, we were just fully in love, just happy, nobody bothering us. And then as time went on, a lot of people outside world internally would just come at me and say, hey, Bailey should be doing this and that, living this life. Like, you got to provide more. You're not the person we want for her. We'd rather her date somebody with the 9-to-5, this and that. So
you're going to be living off
it
of
caused,
her,
exactly. So it caused me to go into a black hole to focus on my career. And then my career took off, like severely took off, to the point where I got obsessive over it. And I wanted to triple down, even though like at that point I was financially well to where we could like retire. But I was obsessive over it because of what I heard for a year and a half straight, that I started neglecting her because I wanted to like make so much more money to provide. And that's how the conversation came up months later.
And it was hard because I'm the type of person that's like lovey-dovey fairy tale. I'm like, I just need you, babe. It's fine. We'll figure it out. You know, but he's like, no, like this is what pressure I'm getting. So I'm going to focus on that. So I got really lonely. And then I was like asking him like, hey, like, would you mind if I had a girlfriend? And then he was like, and then that kind of like opened the doors and we started like talking. And then he's like, well, I don't really want, you know, a girlfriend or partner or anything. If you have a girlfriend, maybe I'll just do like a, you know, a trip or you know, what do you call it? Like a fling here and there. And I'm like, okay, you know, like, so this is like years ago. So then we talked about it, and then pandemic happened, and then I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. So then it never really.
What? Bro, what? Bro, hold on. And by the way, this is the hypocrisy. Why is it an easier blow because she's choosing a girlfriend, not another guy? So, okay, anyway, go ahead, bro. Because
when I watched it, I was just, my mouth was just open, because this situation, when you actually listen to it, right, it's wild. Okay, first and foremost, the only reason why she is considering it, okay, Like, the only reason why she's considering it is because she feels like she's not getting enough attention, right? She feels like she's not getting enough time with him. But the reason why they're not getting enough time is because they allowed people to speak into their relationship to say that the wording was very specific, that she deserves a better lifestyle than what she's given. Did at any point did she say, I don't need that?
No.
Did at any point did she say, hey, guys, we love each other. We're doing what we need to be doing. Don't worry about us? Nope. Did she deny the rumors, what people were saying was wrong? Nope. Inadvertently, she agreed with what the people were saying outside. So what happened? He said to himself, I can't lose you. I'm going to knuckle down. I'm going to get my head down and I'm going to go into work. Now he's gone into hustle and is making money, right? But it requires extreme amount of time to do this thing. And he's focused on his work to bring the lifestyle that she wants. Now he's doing that. She shifted the goalpost again. All right, cool. Well, since you've done that now, I ain't getting the attention that I need from you. You know what I mean? Right? I'm not getting the attention that I need from you. I can guarantee you he gonna give her the open relationship or polyamorous relationship that she wants, and she gonna shift the goalpost once more again.
100%.
Flow, bro.
Bro, I'm still speechless. I wasn't expecting this. I ain't seen this. So, wow. Do you know what? Okay, let me say this, right? Whatever works for a couple, whatever they think works for them, whatever, it's entirely up to them, right? Regardless of what you have to say, if that's what they think works for them, then let them be. However, this is a situation that is not going to work long time at all. My opinion as a man, like, bro, she don't respect you. Because as he's sitting down there and she's taking control of the conversation and she's putting the energy into it, he's just sitting there quiet. Like, you can tell he don't really want to do this. He doesn't want to do this. But this is what his wife wants. And he is not strong enough to say no. No. What we're going to do is work on it. If that's how I've made you feel, okay. But what we're going to do is work in it. And it's something that you definitely hit the nail on the head, bro, when you mentioned about whether she defended him. Because if he had that battering for 18 months, it happens. Mm-hmm. No, it does happen. I went through something slightly similar. If your wife is backing you as a man, okay, it's what, like, as men, we can get into a particular way when it comes to money because we do want to provide, we do want to protect, right? But if you are, so I'm speechless because all the things are going through my mind, bro. But if your wife is backing you, like, how does it, like, it would not get here. Mm-hmm. That's why we can only understand is that she was in agreement in whatever conversations they was having behind the scenes. And he felt that he needed to, as he said, throw himself into work. So let's deep it. Her family and social media have battered him for 18 months. Mm-hmm. Okay. In some ways, she did too. He didn't feel good enough. So he said, okay, I'm not mad at this. Let me get my money up. I'm not mad at that. Well done, my bro. Well done. Well done. He's put in the hard work, the hard graft. He's taken that abuse for 18 months just for his missus to say, oh, well, yeah, I'm lonely. I want somebody else. To me personally, I don't really care about because it's a woman. Listen, I don't care. You are telling your man that he is not good enough. You want experiences, you want adventures, you want to do whatever with some other person. Absolutely no way. After what? I've just gone and worked hard, done what I need to do. This is what you want to tell me. So what? So where does it end? Like, to me, I don't know, bro. Like, I just look at it like this, right? As men, sometimes we just got this. Some men have to grow some balls. I'm gonna say, some men have to grow some balls. I'm gonna say,
yep.
Because what is that? Like, straight up, like, ladies, the same way. If a man comes to you and says, "I want other women in our life," like, you too say, "Absolutely no way. That's not gonna happen." If you want to do that, you do that, but not with me. Straight up. Like, that's how it should be. Like, to me, if it was my boy, I'd do you know what? Even if he's my boy, it wouldn't matter. It seems like he's lost in it at the moment. He's just gonna give his wife, like, nah, absolutely no way. Like, I'm speechless. I can't even proper formulate something to say.
The words,
bro. Because I'm like, what?
bro. I'm telling you, family.
You know, and she's just seen it as, my man is giving me what I want. But ultimately, on a deeper level, we're going to see how this is going to play out in the future. His truth is going to come out about how he felt about that whole situation. And as I said, even if he plays about with other women, he is not the type of man that wants to do that. So that's never going to be fulfilling for him. But it's fulfilling for his wife. So he's going to give his wife, no way. Not for me. Absolutely not. No way. This, as they say, this world is finished. And as someone mentioned it, people keep making a mockery out of marriage. And that's what disappoints me.
Well, they haven't actually gone to open marriage just yet. So they haven't got there yet. But, you know,
and then now that we have Aurora, this conversation kind of comes up because he's like, well, before you got pregnant, we were talking about this, and I want you to have your experiences. And you had a pregnancy, a pandemic, and you were lonely, and so you haven't had any social interaction in years.
Well, how you explained it was actually like kind of terrible context behind it. Only because I think she skipped out a part where we did that out of like negativity, right? Neglect. I was
lonely,
and then you didn't get pregnant in a pandemic. It was a year. Technically, it was a year and a half later.
Yeah.
So during 2020, it was all neglect. In 2021, we started working on ourselves, and then we got pregnant. And then after pregnancy, we got to the point to where she was saying that she was good, she doesn't need anybody else. So like, how do we even navigate it? Because I wanted this 3 years ago, but now I feel like you fulfill all those needs that I wanted. But now we're both in a situation where we both feel like this is still something that we could still enjoy.
Yeah, because how temporary is this?
Right.
You know what I mean? So
that's fascinating.
Isn't it crazy?
It's kind of like a
go for it, bro.
Why? If you're both saying what we have is enough, why do you want more? This is a recipe for disaster, bro.
Your response is killing me, bro.
You're both saying you're enough. Because I thought that maybe he was still like just focusing on his work. But if she is saying like we're enough, like what? This is what you wanted 3 years ago. So that means that's what's been on your mind for 3 years. Bro, something. Nah. I don't know how old.
They're now. He's now 26. I think she's now what, 25. So they've been together since 23. So it may be that she's getting an itch because she's maybe felt like she settled down too early. You know what I mean? It could have been that itch, that you settled down too early and went and got married. But they're quite. He's doing well for himself. If you go on their YouTube, I think they recently bought a £6.5 million house, $1 million house. He's not a small boy in the game. You understand? And neither she, I don't think. Oh, he's 28. Okay. Oh, what? They're that old. I thought he was 26 at the time. I didn't know he was 28. I thought he was 26 at the time.
30 this year.
So she's older. I didn't know she was older. I thought she was younger. Oh, snap. Did I mishear their ages then? Wow. Okay. Well, that puts a different that puts a different kind of spin on it, because that age gap is important too, because sometimes those 2 years can be doing you dirty. I can't lie to you. That makes a difference, because her being older too, sometimes that age and that experience, it can make you it can make you have power dynamics within your relationship. And so that is not easy, to say the least. But this whole thing of trying to consider whether they want to have an open relationship, etc., yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's never a good idea to open your marriage up in that way. Personally, I don't think. I think that always sets a precedence for emotional damage on both parts. And I always say this as men, when you allow yourself to open yourself up in a particular way, trust and believe the woman will end up blaming you after. She ain't gonna take accountability. She's gonna blame you, saying, "Why didn't you stop me?"
You was okay with it.
You weren't okay with it. You know what I mean? Just the last part I'll let you guys watch. Sorry, let me put it as appropriately so you guys can see.
It's very complicated. And then so it's like, how do you navigate that? How do you throw somebody into that? And then if it is just one-offs or experiences, because I'm more experience based, but I do have this thing where I can have multiple loves or many loves for lots of people, and I don't necessarily take away from my main partner. And then, but that also is a problem, because I don't ever want him to feel neglected. But I feel like I just have lots of love to give.
Well, that's polyamory is like rejecting a scarcity model of love, wherein if I give love to you, I may not have enough left over for you.
Right.
It's thinking of love as something abundant and even in many cases renewable. The more that I love, the more love that I have to offer other people.
That's how I am as a person, and that's how I've always been. But that is not something that really can be translated to relationships. And so I understand that. So a lot of the times when I come into relationships, I come in kind of knowing that the way that I love is not going to be something that people are comfortable with. So I normally just kind of like sacrifice that part of me in order to be in a monogamous relationship. And that's how it always has been. So it's hard. So it's like, he knows that about me, but he's not like that. So we're not the same in that way.
Yeah. And I think we're more so getting towards the same now, where like when we first met, like I didn't grow up in like a 2-family household or anything like that, but like I was always taught like monogamy, man, woman, boom. Like I wasn't taught anything about this whatsoever. And then coming into a relationship, like I didn't know like her past in terms of like just being open, like loving all people, things of that nature. So like as the years went on, I started to learn and understand, and then actually agree now in our 4th year of marriage, 5 years of being together. But we came into the relationship just 2 different people, just meeting and just fell in love. And I think that now we're getting more into our individual selves. I think both of us kind of lost ourselves in the other person in our first year because we came off a TV show. It was a terrible TV show to where we feel like we only had each other, and
it happened quickly. We got engaged after only 23 days of knowing each other.
Yeah,
like it was the most insane whirlwind thing. So we didn't even have time to be like, "What's your dating history?"
Not at all. We had like we was doing that like while we were engaged. But then as time went on, like I said, we're starting to get our individuality back, and we're starting to see like what works for us as a couple at the same time.
Bailey, it sounded like even before you met Swaggy, this felt like something that was true to you.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've always been open about that. So like I've had.
I mean, bro, they're just saying the story for us, but they're just letting everyone know what like how they got here. I'm gonna say this though, and it reminds me of Will and Jada, right? The only reason why she's able to get away with it is because of the type of guy that he is.
Yep,
that's it. He's a yes man. That's it. That's
yep.
the only reason why she's
trying to keep his girl.
Because if he had respect for himself, he would have said, "This is not what I want. So you can go and get what you want from someone else." That's it. You know, like, look, I can't even say they got married when they were young. What we can say, what, 20? Well, no, we can though. 25 years. What, 23? And how old was she been? 23 and 25.
I think, yeah, because he's 27.
28, yeah.
Yeah, so they've been together for 5-6 years. They've been together. So yeah, 2018 when they got married, but they've been together I think for a year before that or something like that, whatever. So yeah, around about that age, yeah.
Then to me, if we look at her for a second, she's someone who doesn't truly understand or know herself yet. So she thinks because she has a lot of love to give, it's for other people, not the one person she's supposed to give that love to. That's confusing. But that's where she's, laid her ground, so to speak. So that's what's just normal to her. That's what she thinks is going to serve her. There's going to be a time where she's going to regret that. She's going to say no more. But right now, she's just getting what she wants. In fact, she probably thinks, because my man loves me, he's giving me this. That's not how it goes. And when it comes to him, he definitely didn't know himself, not at 23. 100%. He was excited on the show, saw a woman that he felt was beautiful, and just decided to do something that was wild. It does happen, getting married quick. But he was thrown into something he wasn't ready for, which was marriage. You can never truly be ready, but which was marriage, and also to financially provide for someone who so many people put order up here. He's been fighting a losing battle from the beginning.
Yep.
So we're not surprised, are we? We're not surprised he's here. He's in a position where he's constantly chasing to try and make her happy, but he's not going to be able to do that. One, because of the type of man that he is. Two, simply because he is not enough for her. That's it. And the family knew that. So their solution was maybe she needs somebody else. That's me, bro.
No, I'm not saying anything, bro. Yeah. I'm not saying anything, bro. Wow. Clearly.
At situations to where like I was engaged before Swag, and like my ex-fiance would come over and my ex boyfriend was there, and like we like there's lots of fluidity in my life, and I've had boy relationships and girl relationships, and I've just been very open, but I never thought it was an issue until marriage came. So like when we got married, it was more this like, you're married now, all that stops, there's no contact with exes, you can't do this, there's no fluidity.
And that was societal, not
societal, and I won't say her name.
We did marriage counseling.
Our marriage counseling,
and they were like, absolutely not. And we were like, oh,
and that wasn't from a place of we was like just engaged. In the first 10 days, all our family told us, hey, like, we've been married for years, you got to go through marriage counseling. We're like, okay, cool, bring her. And it was
overall a great experience because it gave us tools, but it was like,
cut this person off, cut them off.
Yeah.
So we thought that's how marriage was supposed to be, because we just wanted to be together for the next 50, 60, 70 years. But as time went on, we were like,
friends, exes, anybody that was just
agree to this. Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of
and
tough.
it didn't really fit us. So it took us years to kind of be like,
we didn't really agree to this. Negro, you know your ass was agreeing to this. Don't be telling us if your ass was. Don't tell us if your ass was. He's going on like he's going like, we didn't agree to this. No, if you didn't agree to this, you wouldn't be looking uncomfortable right now, Kat. You wouldn't be looking uncomfortable. You'd be like, listen, let's get in. You wouldn't be holding on if you didn't say you didn't agree to this. You wouldn't be holding on the way you're holding on, right? So the reality is, like she said, her previous relationship, she was already doing this stuff. So actually, the problem is actually not with her. I mean, apart from other stuff that's happened, the problem is not with her. The problem is, sir, you have falsely believed that she has going to change and become monogamous when that's not what she actually wanted.
Oh, wow.
All right. So more than likely, the counselor has probably even pointed that out. I'm surprised if the counselor probably even get them again. I'm sure the counselor probably didn't tell you shouldn't even go ahead. Because clearly you have different ideas. You know what I mean? So clearly maybe they went to a Christian counselor. It sounds like they even went to a Christian counselor as well, the way they're talking. But the marriage counselor told them, listen, hey, look, that's not how it's gonna work. Okay, all right, that's not how your marriage is gonna flourish. But you bringing in not just your exes, some of your friends too. And y'all didn't listen because where the pressure come from? Family and friends. So clearly y'all didn't listen to marriage counselor, and now you're in the doo-doos. Well, at least he's in more in the doo-doos.
Oh yeah, she's enjoying.
He's saying, of course she's enjoying. You know what I mean? Of course she's enjoying. She's getting what she wanted. Does he get what he wants? No, but he's not being vocal about it. He's messing around.
And this is one of the biggest problems of, not all, but a lot of men in today's society at a particular time. Some men have learned the lesson, some men haven't. But when the breakdown of what it means to actually be a man who can lead, who can, provide, create that security, create that stability, and understanding what type of man you need to be, when you're not that, you allow everyone else to run wild. There is no leader who can lead effectively if your life is spent trying to make other people happy. That's not leadership. That's not leadership. Think about everyone's own life. If you are just a people pleaser, just be saying yes, trying to make other people happy, there's no happiness that's truly found in that, if you're going to be honest with yourself. You can have a serving spirit, which is great. And when you help someone, when you serve someone, it makes you feel good. But when you do that at the expense of your own happiness, there comes a point in time where it will hit you and you won't even know what to do with yourself. And it's going to hit him. I guarantee you it's going to hit him. Because when it actually starts happening for real, in real time, there is not enough women that he might entertain that's going to make him feel good that another guy is giving it to his wife in a way that he cannot. He's going to feel horrible. And that's why, to me, this is wild. My guy, you made the wrong choice. That's all I can say.
Trouble ahead. Yeah, no, listen, their situation is kind of manic. It's kind of manic, but this is the lessons one has to learn ahead of time, because I think as men as well, this reminds me of, if anyone's ever watched it was Ronnie from Belle Biv DeVoe and his wife, Ronnie, and is it Ron and I can't remember her name, Shamari.
Yeah.
So they two opened their relationship up, and she regretted it big time.
It doesn't
right?
work.
She regrets it now, right? And she also was interested in women too, and she regrets it big time. And so I saw them on Love and I can't remember what show it was, but I think it might be Marriage Boot Camp or whatever. And she regretted it big time. Because the reality is, opening your marriage like this to other parties to be involved, it sounds good at first, but the difficulties that come with it, that you're connecting with other people, you're removing actually the constructs of protection from your relationship and allowing others to have access to your relationship. That's a level of madness. Okay, it's a level of madness. Like, the reality is, y'all need to have maybe better friendships, and maybe you need to improve your relationship in general to fulfill those needs that you're actually wanting to be fulfilled. Right? You got an itch, you want to scratch it, my friend. Maybe you need to add some fantasy to the sex, because opening up to other people going to cause issues. It's going to cause issues. It's going to cause issues, and it does cause issues. You know.
And we haven't even mentioned the biggest thing. By doing that, you're committing adultery. You're already breaking your covenant. What, for the sake of seeking what, acceptable pleasure? I mean, if you don't believe in the covenant of marriage, you don't believe in God, you don't believe in Jesus, you don't believe in the Bible, that's fine. Do whatever you feel is best for you. No problem. You will meet your maker when you pass away, and then you can see what's what, right? No problem. But if you have been given the fundamentals, the foundations, the understanding of what is right, according to the same beliefs that you say you have, that you are part of, this shouldn't even make sense. To me, this is again, looking at the world that we live in and deciding it is better to be selfish and chase what we want than do what is right. Because in her mind, because he's accepted it, in her mind, she's convinced that he's happy, that he's okay. I'm not hurting him. So that's why you was right, bro. Because the moment he says, I don't like this, she's going to say, what do you mean? You said, in fact, she did say, this is what you said. You said you want this too. You said you want this for me. You said you want to give me this. Why are you backing it now? Why are you changing it now? This is what she's going to say. And to me, it's a problem until she decides this is not what she wants anymore.
Yeah.
But she's not going to decide that whilst he is being the man that he is right now. And don't get me wrong, he doesn't have to change. He just made the wrong choice. He should have married someone that doesn't want that. And therefore, she should have married someone that does want that, which is what some people are saying in the comments. Because that's what it is, bro. But they're here. And to be honest with you, even in the eyes of God, even when it comes to divorce, it's not just adultery that is permitted. But if they're both going to commit adultery, then legally and spiritually, unless they're going to make those changes, they can go their separate ways and be happy with whatever they decide to be happy in. You know, and that's where it's likely going to go. Like, there's, you know, it's just by pure, you know, luck that because of things that have happened, they haven't been able to explore it. But you can see she wants this more than he does. And that's it. Like, imagine as a man, bro, imagine you've now thrown yourself into work and you've made millions to the point where, okay, now everyone can respect me. Now my wife can love me. Now we can live good. Just for her to tell you, sorry, you're not enough. I need to give my love to other people.
That's very true. Very true. Listen, audience, it's been a good one. I had to keep it nice and short for you because we've got another panel to talk about. But that video there, I know it caused issues. So I know it definitely was one of those videos that I would love to review a little bit later on, maybe later on in the week. But I'll put the link in the chat if you want to go and watch it. By all means, go through, watch it as well, and you can have your thoughts on her page. We're going to skip over to another live. I got a few people to come through. You coming through, Jay, yourself, to the panel?
Coming through, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, we've got another live that we're going to go on to now, guys. So we're going to pop off onto the other panel. It's about to get interesting. That's all I can say. It's about to get interesting. And we're going to have some real conversations on the other side as well. We're going to talk about open marriage as well. So I hope you're ready. So I'll put your link in there for you, bro. All right, listen, audience, thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe. Click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you. You already know we have to leave you with something before we leave.
I'm leaving here with something.